All right, everybody, welcome to BO Boys for Monday, March 6th. F it, it's a raw feed. We're doing it live. I'm Clayton.
Yeah, I'm Pat. Clayton, there was a box office knockout this weekend. Didn't go to a judge's decision. This was a pure knockout. Someone got carried from the ring on a stretcher. Will they ever move again? Who knows? All we know is standing in the ring, your new box office champion, Creed 3. Clayton, could you give us a plow for the weekend of Friday, March 3rd?
Number one, Creed 3 made $58.6 million in its first frame. Number two, Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania made $12.4 million, down 61%. It lost 520 theaters. It's at $186.7 million in its third weekend. Number three, Cocaine Bear made $11 million, down 53%. It added 37 theaters. It's at $41.2 million in its second weekend. Number four, Demon Slayer, To the Swordsmiths, whatever, can't read the rest of it. $10 million in its first frame. Number five, oh yes, he has continued to rise. Jesus Revolution, $8.6 million, down 46%, added 100 theaters. It's at $30.5 million in its second frame. That is your top five.
Great top five. I mean, Jesus hasn't risen because he went from number 2 to number 5, but I would say Jesus turned the other cheek this weekend. The Jesus Revolution, you know, only dropping 46% in its second weekend. That is turning the other cheek and very commendable from Jesus Revolution. Listen, Quantumania is the boxer that I was talking about when I said someone was carried out of the ring this weekend.
Mm-hmm.
Quantumania got lit up, got knocked out, and a 61% third weekend drop. I mean, we're going to get Creed's the entire show today, but
Yeah.
very quickly, Quantumania, Clayton, is this a boxer that needs to hang up the gloves and retire? Ant-Man's box office career over?
Yeah, I mean, Scott Mendelson tweeted something, the great Scott Mendelson tweeted something to that effect
Mhm.
that it's going to make it worldwide. It's poised to make what 500 million,
Under 500 million
under 500
worldwide.
million, which
It's
is
going to
which
make
is
less than possibly The Last Wish. That is where
yeah.
we're at right now. Last Wish is an all-time greatest showman situation, but this is a Marvel movie we're talking about.
Yeah, and so he effectively said, who knows what this means for Marvel, but it definitely means Ant-Man is dead.
Mhm. Mhm.
And I agree with that. I do think they really screwed the pooch on this franchise, which is a shame because, like I've said a million times, this was counter programming to the big, bloated, effects driven, just incoherent garbage that Marvel likes to put out. And they ruined it. They ruined
They
it.
ruined it. They ruined
And
it.
poor Paul Rudd, a guy everybody likes, now he has to talk about this movie that is a failure. It's on his resume. And but he was under contract. He had to do it. It's a nice
Right.
payday. But I feel bad for this guy because he got saddled with this thing that is just like this wasn't didn't fit the character.
Right.
And
Right.
and I do think that Ant-Man, we're gonna see him in other Marvel movies, of course, but him headlining a film,
Nah.
brah.
Nope, nope. Do you think that, Paul Rudd for years has had the bit of every time he's on Conan, he throws to a clip, and it's the famous clip from Mac and Me of the kid and the alien rolling off of a cliff. Do
Mhm.
you think that instead of that, as his joke, when Paul Rudd is on the Conan talk shows, he instead throws to a clip of just the deadline articles about Quantumania's box office? Is that
I mean,
now the funniest, goofiest, kitschiest thing that Paul Rudd could throw to?
yes, although, I mean, it's kind of a moot point at this point because, Conan is now a full-time podcaster,
Right, right, right.
so
But
I don't think he's ever gonna be showing clips anymore.
I mean, listen, if Scott Mendelson returns to the BO Boys, which he will, and he wants to toss to a clip of his work, we'll find a way to make that happen. Podcasts are, of course, the new Tonight Show. So I think Paul Rudd could throw to a clip of the Deadline article of Quantum Mania's awful box office next time he's on Conan. So that franchise has been knocked out. Full KO there. Cocaine Bear, number 3. This negative 53% drop in its second weekend. I think it's fantastic for a gimmick movie like Cocaine Bear.
Oh,
11
yeah.
million second weekend is amazing. 11 million would have been a very satisfactory opening weekend for something like Cocaine Bear.
Absolutely. The fact that it's adding theaters, yeah, I mean, if people didn't like this movie, it would have dropped 70%, and it
Right, like
didn't.
Ant-Man. Yep,
And I mean, and, having Creed 3 do what it did, which we'll get to, I mean, that I think would be a lot of the Cocaine Bear audience, and
right.
I think there was still
Younger,
people
yeah.
going, yeah, people still going to see Cocaine Bear even with Creed 3 out, so that says a lot.
Yeah,
Before we get to Creed 3, we just do have to mention Demon Slayer quickly
quickly.
because it's a Crunchyroll anime film. It made $10 million. Oh, and it was only in 1,774 theaters.
Right.
I think, and we've mentioned this before, the Crunchyroll has reached a peak of what it was gonna do, and it was that original Demon Slayer, or at least the Demon Slayer that came out a few years ago up against
Right.
Mortal Kombat. You can't really this movie made $10 million,
Yes.
right? That's a great chunk of change for something that the general audiences don't know what the heck it is.
Yeah.
Like,
It's
this
a
movie
it's
comes
a
out and makes
collection of episodes of the TV anime series. That's what this was.
and I'm seeing articles complaining that it didn't do as well as the previous Demon Slayer, and it's like, I don't know what you expect.
Mhm.
I don't think we're at the point where an anime movie is gonna open to $50 million. I don't think it's gonna keep going up. I think the '20s was where these movies peak until something really huge comes out, but I think we're still looking at these as niche. We're still looking at these as, you know, F F what is that for the fans? FTF.
FTF, yeah. These are for the fans, for sure. Listen, again, it's a collection of episodes of the TV series. The fact that this makes $10 million is probably almost pure profit. So
Yeah.
this is, yeah, it's the peak of this form of movie was Demon Slayer in April 2021 when there were so much less product out there, so on and so forth. But
Mhm.
this was a great number. Crunchyroll continues to hit its mark. To be around 10 million every time they put one of these out is outstanding. So,
Yep.
Cocaine Bear, Demon Slayer, Jesus, they all had solid showings in the ring. I would say they all won their undercard matchups this weekend, but the main event was Creed 3,
Mhm.
$58.6 million. Clayton, this was the biggest opening for a sports movie of all time. Think of every sports movie that you have ever seen, ever heard of. Not one of them opened as big as Creed 3 this weekend. This is our new champion. And I,
Yeah.
I salute this champion.
Yeah, that is amazing that this is the highest grossing sports movie because I could have sworn Leatherheads still held that title, didn't it? The Clooney
No,
Krasinski film?
it turns out that Leatherheads did very poorly at the box office when it
W
came out. It was both a
Ver
critical and financial failure. Yes,
That's
very
shocking because
rare. Y-
Wow, it feels like
yeah,
that would have been a slam doink.
no, Leatherheads was a failure. Surprisingly, as are all George Clooney directed films. So
Wow, okay.
Leatherheads was not the biggest sports movie of all time, but Creed 3 did it. We talked on our big preview episode about would Creed 3 be the biggest opener of the Creed franchise? And we both thought it would be. I predicted a double Cocaine Bear opening weekend. I predicted
Mhm.
46 million, and that was on the way high end of any projections that were out there.
Yeah.
And this smashed those projections. Smash the way you should be smashing the like button if you're watching us on YouTube, smashing the subscribe
Mhm.
button. Creed 3 smashed its own franchise records, sports movie franchise records. Uh, for a March movie, this was a tremendous, tremendous opening weekend. So, a little bit in this episode, we talked about this off air, Clayton. We're gonna divvy up this 58 million opening weekend. We're gonna decide who deserves
Mhm.
what for why this movie made 58 million. But let's just start talking about, I would say, do you have demos in front of you? Of course, we know on the BO Boys, Clayton is the demo god. He's the one who finds out who went, the ages, the demographics, and all that. And I got to imagine, as you get that in front of you, that Creed 3 had to be very young skewing. And my guess is that this was a very diverse movie. We saw this in theaters ourselves Saturday night. It was a great, uh, uh, diverse crowd. You saw all creeds were out there. All races and creeds were together, cheering, getting excited. So that's going to be my prediction here. This is a diverse crowd and a young skewing crowd. But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe this was all old white former boxing journalists with cigars who
Yeah.
went to see this.
So I have age demos and I will find yes, so I've got them all here. Now, for age demos,
Mhm.
well, age and gender demos,
Okay, great.
63% guys,
Okay,
right? 55 between 18 and 34, and 29 between 35 and 54,
okay.
right?
So very young.
Yes. Yeah. So
Mhm.
65% was under 35, which
Wow.
is awesome. Um,
Wow.
and we've got some diversity demos. Very strong. 36% black,
Great.
28% Latino and Hispanic, 23% Caucasian, and 13% Asian.
Wow. I mean, that is an incredibly impressive over-indexing in the black demographic. That is fantastic. This really shows this franchise has become its own thing.
Mhm.
I think a big question mark was always, because this started as a Rocky spinoff, and
Mhm.
Sylvester Stallone's Rocky was in Creed's 1 and 2. And there was always, with this third movie, the thought, will the fans stay with Creed if Rocky isn't there? And I
Mhm.
think it is now officially clear Creed is its own franchise with its own fan base. Not to say that the Creed 3 opening weekend people didn't also like Rocky, but I think it doesn't matter. It is clear it doesn't matter. Creed 3 and the Creed IP is separate of Rocky. It has its own fan base.
Yeah, so in post track,
Mhm.
40% said they came for the cast as a whole, and 43% showed up because they love the Rocky spin-off franchise. So this franchise
Mhm.
is strong.
It's
This
very
cast is
strong.
well liked. And what a what a rebound for the breakout star of this film,
Mhm.
who whose name is eluding me.
Jonathan Majors, one of the
Jonathan
great
Majors.
names. The guy's a movie
Yes.
star whose last name is Majors. So that is
Yes.
that is you gotta give someone like that a big try to become a star when his last name is Majors. And we both we've not personally seen a lot of Jonathan Majors ourselves. I think
No.
neither of us watched Lovecraft Country TV show. We didn't see Quantumania. We never will.
We saw
We
mediocre SNL he hosted,
uh,
but
but it was a
with
different
a
cast.
terrible cast, yes.
Yeah, yeah. If he hosted this year with this new and improved cast, get him in there with Sarah Sherman, he would be, I think, a much improved host.
I
But
totally agree.
we hadn't seen uh the it that everyone was talking about with Jonathan Majors until we watched Creed 3 ourselves this weekend, and we get it. I know I get it. I get
Mhm.
why Hollywood is going gaga for this guy. He is a star. He was awesome in this movie.
Yes. Listen, Tessa Thompson, I'm a fan. Michael B. Jordan, I like a lot.
Yeah.
I do Felicia Rashad, goes
Yep.
without saying. I do think that he's the best thing in this film by far.
Yes.
And I
Yes.
think listen, we're not critics, huh?
Huh?
And we talked after seeing this film that it kind of breaks down at the end for us.
Yeah. Yeah.
But we enjoyed it thoroughly until that point. And I think Jonathan Majors, really elevates the material in a way that makes me look forward to the things he's going to do in the future.
Yes.
Hopefully, not Kang. I'm not going to see any movies with Kang in it, obviously, and he's getting a fat paycheck from that. But hopefully, that's not going to impact his ability to do other more interesting films or other big franchise type films or
Right.
big original films
Right.
that are
Right.
meant to be tentpoles.
I mean, coming out of this movie, the you know, the things that I am excited for are that Jonathan Majors and Michael B. Jordan are clearly such stars,
Mhm.
such movie stars. And I just want to see them now get movie star parts. I want to see
Yes.
them play be in thrillers, be in buddy cop action movies,
Mhm.
get a Die Hard in a blank type movie, get
Yeah.
a John Grisham a legal thriller type movie. I get one of them to fight aliens or something, 90s traditional movies. Get a drama where they play the head of a crime syndicate, or they play spies, but they are movie stars that you could build big box office attractions around without needing to put them in capes, to put them in superhero masks.
Yeah.
The Jonathan Majors and Michael B. Jordan are stars who brought people out to the movie. And when people
Mhm.
saw this movie, they recognized the two of them as big screen, not streaming, huh? Not
Huh?
limited series, huh? But as movie
Huh.
stars. So I
Yeah.
really hope that Creed 3 propels both of them to be above the title movie stars.
Yes. Absolutely. And you know what? Listen, Hollywood is a fertile ground now for non-superhero movies
Yep.
because we're seeing listen, Ant-Man is just the beginning. Shazam is going to bomb. You're gonna see some of these next phase Marvel movies, people will be disinterested. Yeah, they're gonna open big, but they're gonna have no staying power.
Yep. I
And
mean,
you're
Black
seeing
Adam bomb. Black Adam was one of the most famous bombs of the year, and I was saying that for
oh my
weeks and
god,
weeks and weeks. I
here we
kept
go.
telling everyone how Black Adam was a failure,
Rewriting
how
history.
Dwayne Johnson had a dud on his hand. I said that for weeks and weeks and weeks. You look at this past year, basically since No Way Home with the three Spider-Men, which is an anomaly, all these superhero movies have been some level of critical and or box office disappointment,
Mhm.
both on the DC side and the Marvel side. I guess Batman, but Batman is Batman. I think the big problem this past year is every time they tried to introduce a newish superhero, it got rejected. or
Mhm.
even a mid-level superhero like an Ant-Man or a Thor. It got rejected. And instead, movies like Top Gun Maverick, which really did is going to be looked back on as historic game changer. Really, I think that movie, we've talked about this, opened people's eyes to wanting non-superhero blockbusters. And
Yeah.
since then, it's been Maverick, it's been Avatar, it's been lower budget fun stuff like Megan and Cocaine Bear and Violent Night and
Yep.
horror movies overperforming. And now it's something like Creed 3 opening to 58 million. People want real people and they want just more old-fashioned movie star movies.
Yes, I mean, I think that is such a huge I mean, to go back to a movie star driven Hollywood
Mhm.
is my dream, and I think our
Mhm.
dream, because what it
Yeah.
does is it makes the films that can be made more versatile.
Yes.
Because now, at the moment, it's all about IPs and it's all about what character is this person playing, as opposed to what actor is in the film. And I do
Right.
think that that looks like it may be changing.
Right.
And that is good. That is positive because then we're gonna mint new stars, which is what we need so
Right.
desperately is new stars.
Right, right. And listen, Creed is IP,
Mhm.
obviously. It is part of a franchise, but there is a difference between Michael B. Jordan gaining star power playing Adonis Creed as opposed to Michael B. Jordan in a superhero movie, which he's been
Mhm.
in and he was great in. But Creed just is something that makes you into a star the way donning a cape and donning a superhero mask does not. It is
Yeah, I
people
mean,
want to people see people who play real people as stars, and they see
yeah.
people who play superhero movies as CGI globs, and that is just the way it is.
But there are I mean, listen, talking about someone like Sylvester Stallone who's absent from this film,
Mhm.
he's a guy his big movies were franchises, Rocky,
Right.
Rambo, but he was able to use that popularity to make
Mhm.
other films, right?
Yes.
Like Cliffhanger and things like that, that also
Fist,
made money.
Cobra. Yep.
Yeah, so, that is that is a path, I mean,
Right.
that's a path that Michael B. Jordan can have. I mean, I'm not gonna discount him for being in a franchise, that is something that you have to have at this point,
Right.
but,
Right.
the branch off from that is important. Like, it can't be
Right.
Robert Downey Jr., where he can't do anything but Iron Man.
Right. Right.
I mean, I
So
know Sherlock Holmes, but whatever, that's a dead IP at this point.
it's a dead IP. Guy Ritchie has moved on clearly. He's got The Covenant coming out in a few weeks.
Oh, yeah.
So, another aspect of this movie when we're talking about Michael B. Jordan is he directed this movie.
Mhm.
Michael B. Jordan stepped behind the camera, his directorial debut, $58 million opening weekend for a directorial debut. That is outstanding.
Oh,
That
yeah.
sets him up to now be someone who can direct big budget movies. There's the base level of like getting the movie done and in on time, which is no guarantee directing a movie. So he did that, but then he did that and delivered a movie people loved and a movie that did Bafa Bobo. So Michael B. Jordan, he's a director now. He's
Mhm.
got that lane for himself and he's going to be able to pick and choose whatever his next movie is. It's good. That's going to be huge for him. And will he be a Kevin Costner, Mel Gibson type actor who does the blockbusters, then also wins an Academy Award for directing? Who knows? That this could be the start of that type of career.
And it's great that he was able to start on something he knows so well,
Yep.
because if he tried to do something completely unlike what he'd done before, which a lot of actors try to do when they direct a film,
Right.
it's setting yourself up for failure, especially in this marketplace. But to be able to say, "Hey, I know this character, I know this world, and let me put my spin on it."
Yep.
I think that was great for him. And yeah, the success is cannot be denied.
Cannot be denied. It is, I would say, maybe the greatest movie star turned director debut other than Bradley Cooper, A Star is Born. This is that level. Obviously, box office wise, it's bigger.
Yeah, yeah,
Star is
yeah.
Born opened to what, like 35.5, and this opens to 58.3.
Different
Both
movies,
for
though. Different movies.
oh, different movies, boxing movie versus country singer movie, but that level of success, that's what Creed 3 is. Just a full on blockbuster right out of the gate for a movie star turned director. So that is huge. Um, yeah, I mean, do we want to get into divvying up the $58 million opening weekend and say who deserved what from
Yeah.
this opening weekend?
Well,
So,
just to give Coop his respect, 42.9 million was
wow.
the opening.
Wow. It must have rose
42.9.
through the weekend. I must have been remembering the early Saturday morning estimates that
Oh,
rose
it
throughout that
rose.
weekend. It
It
rose.
rose.
Much like Jesus Revolution, it rose.
Mhm.
So, of course, fans of our show, want to be boys, want to be girls, want to be people.
People.
They've heard us do this in the past. Famously, I think our first one was we divvied up the $1 billion for Joker, who deserved
Yep.
what. It's something we do when a movie reaches some kind of milestone.
Mhm.
And we go through the different reasons why the movie achieved success, and we break up the millions and give them certain, different number values to the reasons why the movie was a success. So,
Mhm.
Clayton, why don't we start with just listing the different profit participants that we think deserve something? We could get to the numbers, but why don't we put a list together of who we're going to divvy the millions to, and then we'll divvy exact numbers to them.
Okay. I mean, number one, it's got to be Michael B. Jordan.
Yep. Michael B. Jordan is on that list. He is getting paid. Jonathan Majors has to get paid, I think. Obviously, big buzzy co-star. Anyone
Mhm.
else from the cast? There's a
I
lot
mean,
of different factors here, but do you think that anyone else, does Felicia Rashad deserve any money from this movie past the
I
paycheck she got for acting, of course?
yeah, I mean, that's a tough one. I mean, I think Tessa Thompson should get something.
Okay, so Tessa
I do think
Thompson.
she is a draw for the ladies and for the men,
Okay,
definitely. I mean, we definitely like her a lot. So I think that
so
there's Ryan Coogler
Ryan Coogler
helped
did not.
write
Mhm.
this film.
Right. So he did not write he did not direct this one. He got a co-screenwriting credit. Of course, he wrote and directed or at least directed the first Creed. He was the
Mhm.
one who said, "I want to do a Rocky spinoff." So Ryan
Yeah.
Coogler, maybe we'll give him some millions here. What about Sylvester Stallone and or Rocky? I think we should go with, does Rocky deserve anything? Or do you
Oh,
think we should give it to Stallone? Which of those two
I
uh
mean, I think we split
entities?
those up. I think we split those
Okay.
up. I think we
So
have to because Rocky is the franchise and it deserves to get money.
okay, so Rocky Balboa getting a late career payday, and Sly Stallone wrote the original Rocky movies. He's
He
going to
needs to get
get
some
some.
money. He needs to get some. Yeah.
Um, is Irwin Winkler getting anything? Irwin Winkler, the producer of this series, famously in a feud with Sly Stallone over the Rocky rights. Are we giving this guy a penny?
And no, we're not giving this
No.
guy a penny. Nobody's going to this movie because Irvin Winkler
Yeah.
produced it.
All right. So Sly Stallone, if you're listening to this, I'm sure you're smiling because we're not giving Irwin Winkler dime one from Creed 3's
I,
opening weekend.
I mean, we're Team Sly.
Yeah, you gotta be. So I'm gonna throw this out here, and then you're gonna get mad, and we'll debate later how much to give this entity. Amazon Studios. I'm
Nope.
putting Amazon
Zero.
Studios on the
$0.
list. Amazon Studios on
$0.
the list, and we will talk about
MGM.
just how much.
MGM.
MGM is owned by Amazon Studios. it's
No,
Amazon
how dare
Studios.
you? No, how dare you? They have to be
MGM
separate.
has no say. MGM has no say. MGM is not a thing. It's an arm. It's
What
an arm.
when we went and saw this movie,
Yeah. Yeah.
what was on the screen?
A
Was it
logo
a
that
roaring lion?
yes, which is a nice logo that is owned by Amazon Studios.
Or was it a roaring lion or was it a book opening
It
that
was
opens
it
up
was a
to a
roaring
theater
lion,
front?
which is one of the brands owned by Amazon Studios, and
Oh
they
my
chose
god.
the correct uh logo to put on screen there.
Pat, why are you raising my
We'll
blood pressure this early in the morning?
we'll get to the exact dollar amount. I just want to get Amazon Studios on the list. So, any other entities, I'm going to throw out a name that we've given money to before on other movies.
Tom Cruise?
Maverick.
Okay,
Maverick.
yeah. Yeah.
So Maverick slash Tom Cruise. That is going on this list here to get a
Mhm.
little bit of the Creed 3 opening weekend money.
Yeah.
Any other ones that you want to get on this list?
No, I mean, I think that's a pretty comprehensive list,
Pretty good
sans
list.
Amazon.
What was that?
Sans Amazon. I think it's all pretty reputable and above board.
Great. All right. So then let's start with Michael B. Jordan. $58 million opening weekend. He is Creed. He is the director of this film. How much of this 58 million does Michael B. Jordan get for himself?
Well, just think back to when the original Creed was announced,
Mm-hmm.
okay? And everybody was like, "I don't know about this."
Mm-hmm.
The kid of Apollo Creed, like, "What
Mm-hmm.
is this?" And then his performance, it changed everybody's mind,
Yep.
right? So a lot of the success of Creed in general and it becoming a franchise is on the broad and muscular shoulders of Michael B. Jordan.
Yep.
So I would give him the MGM Lions share of this.
Wow.
I feel like he
Okay.
needs because he also, for this film specifically, helped co-write it, directed it,
Mm-hmm.
starred in it. This
Mm-hmm.
guy sweat for this,
Yep.
and I think he gets at least 20 mil.
Okay. I mean, I'm definitely happy with 20 mil. I mean, to be that ripped and also have to direct is
Oh,
is such a feat,
mhm.
because he's just gotta look at all these he's gotta give sign off on clothing, wardrobe options,
Mhm.
and oh, is this a good color for the ring mat and all that stuff. And the whole time he's got to be doing jumping jacks, he's got to be doing push-ups as
Oh,
he's making
yeah.
those decisions. That's incredible.
Oh, yeah. He's doing, the whole around the set, he's doing farmers walks with kettlebells.
Yep, yep, yep. While
That's
he's while
difficult to
he's
do.
while he's looking at lenses with the DP. That's
And he's
unheard
getting
of.
punched in the face.
And he's
He's
getting
getting
punched in the
punched in the
face.
face, and then he's gotta say, "Cut my eye," and then also cut.
Yes.
Cut the
Yes.
scene, cut my eye. He's
Yeah.
gotta keep that straight.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, listen, I love Martin Scorsese, greatest of all time director, but he's never directed a film while getting punched in the face
Not
like Michael B. Jordan
yet.
did. Not
Not
yet. Not
yet.
yet. He's not done yet. You're right. Scorsese's not done yet. All right,
Plenty of time.
Jonathan Majors, more swole than even Michael B. Jordan, but I don't know if the swollenness means he should be making more money.
No, he's not making more money than Michael B. Jordan. Here's the thing about this. I mean, going in, I know he had a lot of buzz and a lot of heat. So, it's one of those things is do we give him money for heat? Because at the
Mhm.
end of the day, the way this movie made money was on the promise of this guy being awesome,
Right.
not necessarily the fact that he was awesome.
Right, but you had to have something to make that promise on, and you needed someone who could be plausible in that role,
Mhm.
you know, because you can't. that's been tried with other actors,
Yeah.
and the people knew the promise was BS before the movie even opened.
Yeah, and
Your
not to call out anybody, but, like, someone like Taylor Kitsch, no offense.
Taylor
Uh,
Kitsch is exactly who I was thinking, 100%.
a guy who's found some success in TV and prestige shows and things like that. I mean, he seems like a
Yes.
nice guy, nothing against him personally or his talents, but
No.
we all smelled that the buzz was not real.
Yes. That's a perfect thing because the machine could market you, but the audience could smell BS.
Mhm.
And the machine told everyone Jonathan Majors is a giant star. He's going to be awesome in this movie. But then you see him and you hear Jonathan Majors beforehand and oh, they might be right. This might not be BS. Whereas if Taylor Kitsch was playing this part, people would have
Mhm.
smelled BS no matter what the marketing was.
Well, to me, Jonathan Majors is still on a rookie contract.
Okay, we're getting them
And
cheap
so
right now.
I think you get him cheap, and I think I'm gonna go lowball on this and give him
Okay.
something to really get, uh, prove himself in his next feature. I'm gonna give him 2 mil. Think 2
Wow,
mil is nice.
I gotta go higher than 2 mil.
What do
He's
you go,
the
5 mil?
I was gonna say like 7 mil. I feel like this
Okay,
is
7. It's gotta be under
yeah.
10 though. A 7 is fine. 7 is fine.
Yeah, he's the value add of this film. When you get to a third movie, you got to have that value add, and this was Jonathan Majors.
Lucky
Um,
number slide for him.
yeah, and I already feel in my bones like we're gonna go back and adjust Michael B. Jordan up a little bit. I'm starting to feel like that we went a little low, but we'll get to that. I think the
Yeah,
Michael
yeah,
B.
it feels a
Jordan
little
20.
low.
Do we want to adjust that now, or do we want to wait? But we both
You
agree
feel
he's
like
gonna.
adjusting it. What do you wanna do, 25?
I would go 25. Yeah.
Let's do it.
Michael B. Jordan goes 25. So he's
Do it.
getting a nice old phone call now,
Nice.
that he's getting more than he expected. Tessa
Definitely.
Thompson, listen, we love her. She is magnetic.
Mm.
Um, I'm torn here because she is really not part of the advertising of this movie.
No,
You
she
know.
has done promotion for it, though.
Oh, yeah. Um, but I think that she's very important because she's just in the bones of what people expect out of a Creed movie. And I think part of the reason why this movie opened so big is just people love the Creed IP, and she is the second most recognizable part of that. I guess the third, if we're counting Rocky as part of the Creed IP.
Yeah.
So I even though she's not an above the title movie star, she's not promoted in it the way Jonathan Majors was. I kind of feel like she should get a little more than Jonathan Majors.
Oh,
Like,
100%. And the thing is, when we talked about the post track, they said, why did they go? One of the
uh-huh,
reasons was the cast. She is a part of the cast. She's a steadfast part of this cast. And I do think having her there
uh-huh.
really makes this less of a sausage fest in a way that is extremely positive,
Yes, yes,
you
yes.
know? Because
It's
she
her
is
and
very
Felicia
much
Rashad. Yeah.
yeah,
Or the non-sausage. Yeah.
exactly. So she's gotta get more than majors.
I mean, I wouldn't go. I would say, I mean, is 8 a number we could start with here and then maybe adjust later?
Let's go at least to 9.
9. Okay, so Tessa Thompson
She's gotta
gets
make 2 more than
9.
Jonathan Majors because that's, listen, she's done the work. He's
Yeah.
still on a rookie contract.
Right, right, right. All right, I like that. So Ryan Coogler directed the first Creed movie. It was his brainchild to say, "I want to make a Rocky spinoff. Here is my idea."
Yeah.
Um, so he's the one who he's the Sly Stallone of this uh Creed franchise, and that he wrote
Mhm.
it. So is he getting Jonathan Majors money. Is he getting like 5
Oh,
million?
he's getting more. He's getting more, and I'll tell you why.
Okay.
Because he laid the tracks for this. The same way Michael B. Jordan was able to take Adonis Creed and make him a character we did not laugh at, but we
Uh-huh.
loved. Ryan Coogler's just shepherding of this IP has made it what it is today, which is an IP that, again, to quote Scott Mendelson, not quote, but kind of paraphrase,
Right.
a franchise where people know the movies are going to be good,
Right.
which
Right.
is a rarity. And this is a lot to do with Ryan Coogler. And here's the thing, we all dream of passive income. And I know he
Yes.
had a hand with the screenplay, but let's be honest. The guy looked at the drafts and said, good or not good.
Right.
I
Right.
mean, that's the thing. Not to underplay his work ethic, because obviously he's a great man and he does great
Right.
things. This man deserves passive income. This man
Mhm.
deserves a big payday on something he barely worked on.
Mhm.
That is the dream of all men and women and people.
People.
And so therefore he should get much more than Jonathan Majors.
Oh, well, remember though, we do have a budget here, 58 million. So much more than Jonathan Majors, and we're pretty much wiped out.
No, I mean not if we give him like 12,
I
because
mean, we're
Amazon's
getting
getting nothing.
no. I think we got to go lower than 12. I mean, my thought would have been 8 in between Majors and Tessa Thompson. This is passive income for
I don't think you
Coogler.
can give him
This
less
is
than
pass.
Tessa Thompson though, because
She was in it. She's on screen.
she was in it, but creatively he is still the driver even in spirit.
Um, then I can't go higher than 9 on this. Again,
Would
we're
Michael
also you're
B
not.
would Michael B give some of his money to Coogler? Because listen, Coogler kind of made him in the sense of Black Panther
All right, so let's
and
take
Creed.
Michael B down to 22, and then
Give
I think 10 to Kugler. 10. He's
let's
more
go
than
11.
Tessa.
Give me 11. Give me 11.
All right, 11. 11.
Yes.
All right, Rocky
Yes.
Balboa, a character who was not in this movie, but was an integral part of the first two movies. The character of Rocky Balboa, not Sly Stallone, he'll get a separate amount, but this is going to Rocky down in Philadelphia, reconnecting with his son, visiting Adrian's grave. You know, this is money that he could invest in new folding chairs when he sits by Adrian's grave.
He needs to
Um,
just put a Barca lounger out there.
mm-hmm.
And
Yes.
he's gotta make sure that it's waterproofed. Just waterproof that leather like you would, put armor all over it or something.
Mm-hmm. So
And just have that Barca lounger.
I'm looking online. A Raymore and Flanagan Barca Lounger goes for $370. There's another one here. It's called the Langston Lift Chair Recliner with Power Headrest. This
Okay.
goes for $1,600.
Yeah.
Do we want to just buy Rocky Balboa a Barca Lounger to be able to sit by Adrian's grave with?
Yeah.
Is it, that's all he needs, right?
Yeah, I think so. He's a simple man. He's learned that lesson
Mhm.
that all the riches, money in the world can't buy family, personal connections, right? So, I think to strengthen that connection between him and the woman he loved, that would be enough for Rocky.
So one Barca Lounger. That is what
Yeah.
Rocky Balboa gets.
And the thing with that, that's kind of a rounding error. I mean, that's when
Yeah,
it comes to this opening weekend,
right.
it's just a rounding error. We
So
can
maybe
really
that
just
doesn't have.
throw them.
Mhm.
It doesn't affect the budget at all. We tuck that in there somewhere.
Right, right, right. It's like we take it out of the prop budget or something. So Rocky Balboa, he gets one Barca Lounger to be used at Adrian Cemetery. Great. So now
Mhm.
Sly Stallone. This guy's a movie star. He's going to want more than a Barca Lounger. He wrote the first Rocky movie. co-starred in the first two Creed movies. He's in a dispute with Irwin Winkler, who
Mhm.
owns the rights to Rocky and therefore Creed. Um, Sly Stallone has gone out and said he will never watch Creed 3 because of
Okay.
his feud with Irwin Winkler. He says he has nothing against Michael B. Jordan and Ryan Coogler. He loves them. He would do a Creed 4, in fact, if
Yeah.
Irwin Winkler was not involved.
Which
So,
will never happen.
which will never happen. Yeah, why would this old man give up the rights to a profitable franchise? It will
I
never
mean, talk
happen.
about passive income.
Right, right. So Sly Stallone, on one hand, created the Rocky IP that led to Creed. On the other hand, he is out there in the press saying he will never watch this movie.
Mhm.
So, how much does he deserve from this $58 million opening weekend? Because I feel
Uh,
like it's not zero.
it's absolutely not zero because talk about I mean, we went back to, back to my point of Ryan Coogler really making this thing a viable franchise. Michael B. Jordan making this a viable franchise. Sly Stallone, and listen, I know his career was not at the height where it was before when he signed on for this spin-off, the original spin-off. But he easily could have said, "No, I don't want anything to do with this.
Right,
This is a
right,
bastardization of my character and my creation, and I don't wanna do it."
right.
His stamp of approval is important, right?
Hmm.
And him
Yes,
saying going out of his way and saying, "Listen, my beef is not with Michael B. Jordan and Ryan
right,
Coogler. My beef is not with this cast. I love them."
right.
Tessa Thompson did a interview where she said the absence of Sly made it feel like he was there even more, that this
Interesting.
movie has even more Rocky and Sly in it by his absence.
Wow.
So
Wow.
that is something, that is interesting and an interesting take, and if she felt that, then, listen, who am I to question it? So, I think that going with that, the fact that Sly was not in this movie means he was even more in this movie, so he should
Interesting.
get a nice chunk of change.
How about this? There
Yes.
have been 6 Rocky movies previous to Creed. There was
Okay.
Rockies 1 through 5, plus the film Rocky Balboa. So 6
Yes.
Rocky movies. Do we give Sly $1 million per Rocky movie? Does he get 6 million?
But he gets nothing for the other 2 Creeds?
But he gets nothing for the other because it is the Rocky movies that led to Creed. So he gets $1 million per Rocky. He is Rocky. Creed is its own thing now, but I think we pay him for the Rocky movies that laid the foundation.
Yeah, I mean, it's low, but I think 6 is good.
Yeah,
I mean, what we would debate the heck out of this, and it would end up at 6 probably anyway.
exactly. So let's just cut all of that out and just land on 6.
Okay.
So next up, Amazon Studios. So Amazon Studios, here's the thing. Here's the thing. They could have been Netflix here. And I think I get it. I get it. I get it. Amazon Studios, there's nothing specific that they did in the promotion that another studio maybe wouldn't have done, other than they easily could have just dropped this on Prime and said subscribe to Prime. We got the new Creed movie the same way, because that is what Netflix would have done if they own this IP. They would have put it out in, maybe at best it would have got a Glass Onion style 7-day 500 theater opening, and then it would have lived forever on the streamer and not had a real box office run. Amazon Studios did not do that. They were burned years ago by Late Night, the famous Mindy Kaling bomb, and they retreated away from putting stuff in the movie theaters. And they could have done that here, and they didn't. They gave this the most full theatrical release that a movie could get. So I have to commend them. I cannot be anti-Amazon Studios when they did the thing that we want all these streamers to do.
Are you
I gotta
truly
reward them.
so are we truly so cynical and the bar is so low that we are applauding a company for not making what would have been a boneheaded, idiotic, moronic choice? The dumbest choice you could make with a
Mhm.
franchise that has a big star who directed this movie with cameras to show in IMAX theaters,
Right.
to put it on a streaming service that has a few Chris Pratt action films and then bloopers from 50s sitcoms on their shitty streaming service. Are you
Mhm.
telling me a company that almost allowed Mindy Kaling, a mediocre sitcom writer, to destroy their theatrical arm, they deserve any credit for this film? The credit belongs to MGM,
Can
okay?
I
Because
answer this
giving
question? You asked a question. You asked a question. Can I answer it? Like, you got to put a question mark at the end of that question. You asked, are we that cynical? Is the bar so low? The answer is yes. The
Oh my
answer is
god.
yes, because Netflix does what they do
Stop
and they get
invoking
away with it.
Netflix.
I will not stop invoking Netflix because that is the bar that has been set. And Amazon did not do what Netflix would have done in this situation, what Disney Plus and Disney has been doing to other slam doinks like Enchanted sequel. That is what these companies are set up to do these days. And Amazon Studios, which owns MGM is not a thing. There are
Yes,
probably
it is.
there are probably
MGM.
not people who work only at MGM. There is maybe a
No, that is
dedicated male guy who works at MGM, and he's
that
like,
is
"All right,
so
you're the
awesome.
male guy that drops off the MGM mail at the desk."
So
Otherwise,
you're telling me that
MGM is just an arm of Amazon, and
that's not
Amazon
true.
made the decision to put this in movies when they easily could have done what all these streamers are set up to do, which is to just drop it on the streaming service.
No.
They didn't do
No.
that. They crossed this bar. And if the bar is low, the bar is low, but that is an important low bar. We
Giving
cannot
Creed
discount them.
giving Amazon
Yeah.
credit for the
Yes.
success of Creed is like giving them the credit for the softness of the toilet tissue I purchased from them. They have zero to do with that success. It was all the
No.
people who are working at MGM, which is its own thing.
They
Okay.
are owned by Amazon. Amazon
But
doesn't own Cottonelle. Like, that is just a basic knowledge of how these companies work.
I
Amazon
understand
doesn't
there are
deserve the credit for
people.
Cottonelle. They're a distributor for Cottonelle. They own MGM. The
They
decision to
distribute
put
MGM movies.
they
Pat,
own the company
there was no Amazon logo at the beginning of Creed
because they decided not to put it there because they could have put the Amazon logo
because
there.
they
This
knew
movie could have started with Jeff Bezos doing a river dance if they wanted to. This was their movie. They owned it. They don't own Cottonelle. They don't
the
decide what the formula is for the toilet paper that is Cottonelle, but they decide whether Creed goes into movie theaters or not.
yes, but creatively they did not do anything with this film. Yes, I will give you one thing that they made sure not to make a stupid, boneheaded, ridiculous, dumb decision that all of the information and the statistics that have been piling up since post-pandemic pointed towards not doing,
Yes,
which
that's
was
all I'm
putting
giving them.
this on their crappy streamer, right?
Yes,
So
I
yeah, if
agree.
you are
That's the
that
only.
cynical and your
Yeah,
bar is that low,
it
then
is.
you can give them money. But
Yes.
I don't feel that
Right.
we should have our bar that low at this point. You see what someone like Peacock is doing. You see what Paramount is doing, okay? These are
Right.
these are companies that are succeeding theatrically. Netflix is like Facebook. Everybody's on it and nobody likes it. Okay.
Sure.
And Disney Plus, Bob Chapstick is to tank that thing. And we know everybody's just going to have it for all the old Disney movies, right? But they're not doing anything right over there. Bob Iger came back from his retirement to right that ship. Okay. This is
Totally.
all information that is out there. So
Yes.
Amazon didn't put their neck out. They didn't do anything to make this movie successful other than
They
do
put
the
in
bare
movie theaters.
minimum of not
Yep.
being fucking idiots. And pardon my French, Puss in Boots fans.
Right.
Okay. I
Right.
had to do it. I had to cut the S hit here. All right. I
Right.
will not give Amazon any money.
Well, you have to though, because they crossed that bar, which they easily could have not done. You know, we easily could live in a world in which Creed 3 dropped on a Friday at 6 a.m. Eastern on the
Listen, Pat,
service. And that would have been a strategy that Hollywood would have said, yeah, that's what Amazon and Netflix and these streamers do. And we would have been out here crowing, how could they do that? How could they do that? This is terrible. This is dumb. Instead, they did the thing we wanted them to do. You have to give a carrot to the rabbit to get it to run. We have to give them this carrot. We have to tell Amazon this was the right thing. You did it. And sure, it's a low bar, but they did it, and we want them to do it again. We want Amazon to do it again and Netflix to start doing it.
now
We
Netflix
want
is
that
never
to
going to
happen.
do it. And that will be their downfall. That will
But
be
you
their
come
downfall.
into
And I'm
everything
looking
with
forward
such
to it.
a negative attitude where everything needs to be punished. And I want to reward Amazon for having done right. And
Well,
let's
how
say
about
to
this, Pat?
Netflix, look at this. We're rewarding Amazon. They did right. This could be you. You could be the ones getting millions on the BO Boys. You could do that if you start putting your movies, your next Knives Out movie, in a movie theater. You too could get praised and get millions divvied up on the BO Boys. Let's put a carrot out instead of a stick.
Listen, I could easily take a crap in my bedroom when my
Right.
bathroom is down the hall. Do I? But I use my bathroom. Do I deserve money?
Maybe.
All
Maybe
right, then
if you
that's
are if you
so
are no, but
cynical.
if you are someone who proved in the past that you continuously shit in your bedroom, and I've
Crap. I
got
was
it.
trying to be for the kids.
So you previously have crapped in your bedroom several times, and I have to keep hearing about it. How you're cleaning up the crapola and the doo doo that you did in your bedroom instead of going down the hall. And then after doing that dozens of times, you tell me, "Hey Pat, I went down the hall. I crapped in the toilet. I didn't crap in my bedroom." I would say that's great, Clayton. Lunch is on me today. Like I would give you the carrot. I wouldn't give you the stick
Why
for doing
don't
something. I wouldn't give you the stick. Give Amazon the carrot. They didn't crap on the bed. They went down the hall to the toilet, put Creed 3 out in theaters. Let's give them the stick, and maybe Netflix with Knives Out 3 won't crap in the bedroom. They'll go down the hall.
can Amazon make a hit theatrically out of a movie that isn't the third movie in a celebrated franchise? That's when it makes money. I'm
Well, listen,
sorry.
I am not, because we are running over.
Yes. Yes.
We
I'm
gotta, we
boiling
gotta go.
over and we are running over.
We got to give Amazon something. I will not give the
Give him a
stick
fucking Barca
to Amazon.
lounger.
Rocky already he got the Barca lounger. We got to give millions. We got to give millions. We got to give them. I'm throwing it out there. It'll be the lowest that we give, but we got to give Amazon Studios $1 million.
All
We
right,
got to.
fine. For them, that's just like I said, that's a rounding error. They won't even find it.
It's a
They'll never
carrot.
see that $1 million.
It's a carrot, and it's a carrot that Netflix could see, and they could say, you know what? Knives Out 3. Let's get that carrot from the BO
Listen,
Boys.
I will give them $1 million under the stipulation that they do not give it to Mindy Kaling to make a film.
I think we could assume that Amazon Studios, of all places, is not going to fund a Mindy Kaling theatrical film.
You
I,
never
I,
know. They're
I late.
boneheads over there.
So, but they went down the hall to the bathroom. They didn't crap on the bed. So good for Amazon.
All right, so
Maverick.
what's our total? Oh,
So
Maverick.
what,
Okay, we got to
last
Maverick.
thing, Maverick. Do you want to give Maverick 2 million because Amazon
Yes,
got one? Of course, the reason we're giving Maverick money is because it changed the game from theatrical films to real people, real IP being the driver of box office this year.
absolutely. Yes. I
So
think you
two
will see
million.
Maverick getting a lot of money, at least a taste of all of these big hits going forward because it was a game changer.
So let's go through it. 22 and 7 is 29, 38, 48, 49, 54, 55, 57. We're 1 million short. Do we give an extra million to Michael B. Jordan? His
Yes.
extra million. So in total, Michael B. Jordan gets 23 million. Jonathan Majors gets 7 million. So that's 30. Tessa Thompson gets 9 million. So it's
Nice.
39. Ryan Coogler gets 11 million dollars. So we are at $50 million. Rocky Balboa, the character, gets a Barca lounger to be used at a cemetery.
Mhm.
That doesn't go against our budget. Sly Stallone gets 6 million, one per Rocky movie. Maverick gets 2 million, and then Amazon Studios gets $1 million. It gets the carrot, not the stick. Great job, Amazon Studios, for putting this in theaters. The BO boys commend you.
Stop speaking for me. I don't
Um,
speak for you.
so that is our show. Clayton, email us, everyone, at the BO Boys podcast at gmail.com. We got great emails. Danny Escamolaji, we are going to read your email on our weekend preview episode. Danny sent us a great boots on the ground email about his Creed 3 experience. So that is primo content that you could expect on our next episode, the preview episode. So email us, the BO Boys podcast at gmail.com. Follow us on Twitter at the BO Boys Pod. Great stuff out of Wanna BO intern Christopher. He is killing it with the video clips on Twitter, of course. Follow us, subscribe, like, smash that like button, smash that subscribe button on our YouTube channel. You get to see us, which is a pleasure for you, of course. And yeah, I mean, the weekend preview episode is going to be huge. Scream 6 is coming out.
Oh, big.
So
Such
e-
so big.
email from Danny that we'll be reading. It's just so much happening at the box office now. You got to stay tuned to the BO Boys. So Clayton, I think we've done it.
Pat, you have another podcast.
I do have another podcast, of course. Listen to the Show Me the Money on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network. Myself and Nick Turner take you on the gambling road to the Academy Awards. Who to bet on? We go over what happened at the Indie Spirit Awards. And this episode, we are giving our official predictions for this coming Sunday's Academy Awards. So we will tell you who to bet on, how much to bet, gambling, movies. It is the place to be. The Show Me the Money on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network.
Gambling problem? Call 1-877-8-HOPE-NY. That's 1-877-8-HOPE-NY 467-369.
Yep. Or
Or
don't.
don't.
All
All
right.
right.
That's it.
We did it, Pat, and I don't think there's anything left to say except for until next time. We'll smell
smell
you
you
at
at
the
the
box.